What's up, everybody? Renfail here. It's time. The Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Cyberpunk 2077, specifically the 2.0 edition. So if you're a new player, this guide is primarily designed for you. If you're someone who's coming back to the game like myself, having played the original base game 3 years ago, there's a lot to get up to speed on with the 2.0 update, which is why this also can apply to you as well. Now, some of the information in this guide might be something that you think to yourself, well, that's stupid. I already know that because I've been playing the game before. Well, remember, this is for new players. But if you do have things to add to the conversation, feel free to drop them down below because we always do updated versions of these guides as we get deeper into the games and as time goes on. So even if you're someone who's been around the block a few times, don't hesitate to let your voice be heard. Drop those things down in the comments below and let us know other things that can help new players enjoy this game that we all know and love. Now, if you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Daily streams happen at 11 a.m. Central Time. We do a lot of other things beyond just Cyberpunk. There's Baldur's Gate 3, Starfield, a ton of other games. There's a bunch of playlists. We do podcasts. We're in Middle Earth and Dune. We do film reviews, TV shows. There's also a Discord. You could join that down below if you want to hang out with us as a community. Without further ado, let's get into the video, guys. Now, if you're a new player to the game, the important thing to remember is that everything in this game takes place in Night City, or the area directly surrounding. And if you open up your map in the game, you scroll down through here, you'll notice that the map is quadrant off into sections. So this is Watson North Side, this is Westbrook, this is City Center, this is Haywood, this is Santo Domingo, so on and so forth. And there's also this area outside of the city to the west. And of course, we've got, with Phantom Liberty, we've got Dogtown coming as well. Now, if you have never played before, this map might seem overwhelming because this place is massive. I mean, it's a really, really big place. And there's a lot going on. But the easy thing to do if you ever start to feel overwhelmed by, like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Where am I supposed to go? How do I, what? The easy thing is just zoom in. And when you're on here on the map, you can choose to unfilter things like so. This is the default view. And you'll come down in here and you'll start to see things like side jobs, right? And those are side quests. And then if you we'll just scroll down here a little bit and we'll see. Now you won't be able to see everything right away at first until you've come down into an area and cleared it. But you'll also see things like this, which is gigs, which are quick and easy things to do to get cash, street cred, and access to more gigs. So when in doubt, and you're trying to figure out what to do or where to go, or you want to find the nearest fast travel, don't forget to refer to your map. And it's pretty big, and you will see lots of things as you scroll in and scroll out. But just remember, this is a big city. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of places to be, and the map is your friend. All right, folks, Night City is a big place, and getting around it is difficult sometimes. However, there are fast travel waypoints that you can find all around the city, which allow you to quickly and easily get around everywhere. And they're marked by these little devices as a general rule, and they show up as these blue dots on the map. And once you're at one, you can open it up and click on any other blue dot and fast travel to them. However, you'll notice as I scroll through the city that there's not a lot of blue dots around here yet. A lot of this stuff doesn't have blue dots. And the reason is because these only become visible and usable once you have discovered them. So you have to go everywhere around the map on foot or by car or whatever. But you have to physically go there somehow to first unlock all of the various waypoints. And as you explore the game, you will find more and more of these, and they will allow you to get around the map even easier. So this is one of the reasons why I'm a big fan of just like getting on your ride and just like taking one of these big roads, these blue lines here, and just following one of the major thoroughfares as it goes through. And you could just follow this around And it might take you an hour or so, but you can follow this central one right here, which makes a big O around the map. I haven't done this yet, by the way, with this build, but this is one of the ways you can do it. And you'll unlock a bunch of the waypoints as you get near them and close enough to them to unlock them. And from there, you can start to fast travel around the map. The important thing to remember is that there is a fast travel system. We'll just click on this one to show you how it works. You just pick one, click fast travel, and boom, it takes you to the next one. But you do have to be at a fast travel terminal to be able to use the fast travel system. And again, they only become available to you once you've discovered them, so you have to physically go to the locations to get the fast travel waypoints in the first place. And here we are. Boom. Look at those views. All right, Night City is a big place, and you do need a vehicle to get the most out of it. Now, if you are just starting out, you're going to have a car that they give you, but for story reasons that I can't talk about here, eventually you will lose access to that car sometime in the early stages of the game after about, well, it just kind of depends on your playthrough, but after one of the major story beasts happen, you will lose access to your car. And from there, getting around the city can be kind of a pain unless you want to rob cars and risk the police getting upset with you. And buying other vehicles costs a lot of money. But you do get access to a free motorcycle, which is this bad boy right here. And this is an ARC. It's a tuned ARC. And this is actually based on Keanu Reeves' actual ARC brand in California of motorcycles that he has. Free advertising to have these in the game. But this bad boy here is a great ride, and it's free. You don't have to do anything to get this other than a small quest, which I have a walkthrough up on the channel already about how to do the quest. But it's a storyline quest. If you're following the main storyline and you care about role-playing, you will get the quest because it comes to you after, without spoiling anything, there's a heist that takes place. And after the heist is when you get access to the bike. Now, the reason I recommend this is because it is a free ride, which allows you to get around the city for quite some time until you've got enough credits saved up to buy your own vehicle or get access to your original vehicle once it gets fixed up past the point of the quest that I don't want to spoil for folks. But this is a free ride, and I always recommend using the freebies to get going because the purchased vehicles could be quite expensive. You can also get vehicles from quests and the like, but this is an early game vehicle that you can use, and this allows you to get around Night City fairly easily. Because Night City is a big place, there's a lot going on, and we need to be able to ride the streets in style and get around from point A to point B. Yeah, gotta love it. All right, this is the Cyberware panel here in your character sheet. And this is where you can see all of the various cyberware that you have installed on your character in these slots. You'll notice I have a lot of slots that are still empty because, like many other people, I am still new to the games, which is why this is the beginner's guide. Now, this whole thing might seem overwhelming, and I do have an overall beginner's guide to the cyberware system explaining this in greater detail. But the most important thing to understand here is that if you hover over things, you're going to get some very important tips that tell you how to get the most out of this. So if you're over on the left and you hover over this bar, this is your overall cyberware capacity bar. And the red area is basically essentially the max that you can currently equip. And each one of these things has a cost associated with it, reflected by the yellow number. And that yellow number is applied to the total that you see over here, this 92. So I have 92 points of equipped gear out of 110 possible points that I can currently use based on my level. And in order to access the full bar here, it's a combination of leveling up, perks, and cyberware capacity shards. Cyberware capacity shards you get by questing. You'll get them out of like boxes and off of enemy corpses. But the other ones, the perks, you have to level up to get. And to level up, you get more access to points as you go along as well. So this bar naturally increases over time, but if you want to get the most out of it, it tells you right here that you need a couple of perks, the Edge Runner and Renaissance Punk. Now, if you wanted to see what where those are in your perk tree, you can hit the X button and it's going to bring this up, and it's going to immediately show you that, oh, there's the one we're talking about. We'll go back to this real quick so you can see that again. Just go on over here, and once you're in here, hit the perk tree, and it's going to highlight the Edge Runner one because that gives you an additional perk. More cyberware stuff. It allows you to exceed your cyber capacity by up to 50 points. So this is something that's important to understand as a general rule, because up here at the top you'll see this thing called Street Cred. And if you look at like Cyberware as an example, if you want access to the best Cyberware, the most amount of Cyberware capacity for your character, you have to level up. You have to actually progress through the game. You can't have everything right away. And the same thing applies for many things in the game, like for example cars. If you want to use the AutoFixer from your apartment, you'll notice that a lot of the cars are locked to the street cred and level of your character. But matter of fact, we'll go take a look at the AutoFixer next so that I can show you that, and it's a perfect segue to roll right into that. Alright, I am in the confines of my trusty apartment, and we're going to go over here to the computer. We're going to click the Use button here, and we're going to get into the net area. And this is going to bring up this page where we can go listen to the radio, do a lot of different things, but we can also go to the AutoFixer. Now, the AutoFixer is something that's new to the game with the 2.0 update, and this allows you to buy cars from anywhere in the game. Now, previously, you had to physically find all of these vendors and go to them and buy them from there. But now, you could go straight here. And we can start, you can scroll through here, like there's bikes available, which I already have one, so we're good. And then there's the various brands. Herrera, Mahir, Rayfield, Villafort, Thornton, so on and so forth, Makigai, Mizutani, Quadra, which have some amazing vehicles, Chevelon, and Archer. Now, you'll notice that some of these are locked because I don't have the credits yet. And going back to what I was talking about previously with the motorcycle, you'll notice here that like even the base cars, like 31,000, 38,000, 34,000, I can't even afford a Quadra yet. They're just things are really, really expensive. The Coyote I can't afford yet. These things cost a ton of credits, which is why the motorcycle that you get is really worthwhile because it allows you to get around the city in style without needing to spend a lot of money. However, once you have a vehicle, there's a lot of people who like to collect the vehicles, so it's kind of worth it if you like it. But they do cost a ton of money. And of course you can find other cars through quests and stuff, but these are the ones that you can buy directly from the AutoFixer. So if you don't want to you don't want to do quests, you just want to go straight to it, you can just go in here, pick a car, buy it, and then once you've bought a car and you go to do the summon vehicle, you'll have an option which vehicle you want to actually summon street side. I'm not going to spend credits on any of these because these are all ugly SOBs and I don't need these yet, so I'm just saving up for basically my favorite cars are the Quadras. These things are badass, and I really like to be honest with you, the Javelina just looks like a beast. But one of the things you're going to notice is it says earn more street cred to unlock this vehicle. So in some cases it's not even about not having enough money. It's also about the fact that you don't have enough street cred yet. So make sure you check these. And this is another area where as you level up throughout the game, you will be able to unlock more vehicles. And that's, as a general rule, something that you're going to find throughout Cyberpunk 2077 is that you need to level up, and you've got to work on getting not just your levels up, but also your street cred. And the way you do street cred is simply by doing missions. And also, when you are on the map, well, this will segue into the next portion. Let's just say you need street cred, you need levels, you got to level up. Now, while we're here in our apartment, there are two important things to pay attention to. One is your stash room, which is right here. You have an unlimited stash, so don't be afraid to come in here and put things into your stash. Right on the right hand side, you've got my storage. On the left hand side, I've got all the things that I currently have on my character, and then there's all the different various filters. I've got weapons, melee weapons, clothing, so on and so forth. So the stash is important, as is the wardrobe, and there's a couple of important things here. One is that it used to be that clothing had armor associated with it, and that's no longer the case. Now, your armor is directly related to cyberware and some of these things that you equip. Now, not all of these have armor, but this one does. As an example, Link's Paws, that 16 in blue represents the armor, and that's going to go towards your total armor class over here on the right-hand side. And since they've gotten rid of clothing on clothing having stats, clothing is entirely cosmetic these days, and there are, I would argue, thousands of articles of clothing. There's head slots, face slots, upper body slots, inner torso slots, lower body slots, feet slot, and a full outfit if you want to go that route. But if you want to make an outfit, you got to come over here to your wardrobe. You can also do this at any clothing vendor, but you go into the wardrobe here, and from here you can set out your outfits. And right now I only have one outfit that I'm using right now. And so you can go in here and you can set the outfit. So if I wanted to, like, I don't have a jacket right now, so if I wanted to put a jacket on top of everything, I would come over and I'd select one of these. But you can also, don't forget to preview when you're in here. Well, preview is in the inventory, but you'll see what I mean here in a second. So I could choose to put this jacket on. I could put this jacket on if I wanted to. I could put this jacket on if I wanted to, so on and so forth. There's lots of different options, and they're all cosmetic. So this is one of those things where it just doesn't matter. And how do I? There we go. Unequip. Now I got rid of my shirt there, which we'll go back to combat. Yeah, there we go. That's what I was looking for. So you can set your wardrobes and everything else, and then what I like to do is, if I'm in doubt about something ever, and I'm not sure if I want to hold on to it for later because I'm not sure if it looks good or not, I'm going to come in here into the clothing tab, and I'm just going to start storing stuff. But in this case, I know that I don't like a lot of these things, so the ones I want to store the hat, I want to store the glasses. We're going to store the combat turtleneck and both those turtlenecks. The rest of these I can sell because I think they look like absolute dog poo-poo. But if you're in here and you're not sure what something might look like, you're going to notice when you're in inventory, you can preview item by hitting the right trigger if you're on the Xbox. I'm not sure how to do it on mouse and keyboard or etc. But you can come in here and preview these items to figure out whether or not it's something you're going to want or not. Now, I don't care about the rest of this, so I'm going to get out of here. And something you'll notice if you've changed your wardrobe at any point in time is that you're going to be naked in your boxers. And so one of the things you'll want to make sure to do is anytime you've changed your wardrobe, to go back in here to your inventory, and over here on outfit, click the outfit button, and then up at the top, click the relevant wardrobe outfit that you want to apply, put that on your character, and boom, he's ready to go, as you can see. I'm pretty pleased with my outfit. I'd like a different color for the hat, but it is what it is for the moment. But that's a quick tip on the stash and your wardrobing in the apartment. Don't be afraid to throw things in here because, yeah, there's lots of stuff you get, and they all can look cool. When it comes to weapons, it might be confusing as to about what you want to use, but it really just comes down to personal preference and playstyle. You've got shotguns, you've got pistols, submachine guns, assault rifles, sniper rifles, just revolvers, all sorts of different stuff throughout the game. But there is one thing that you pay attention to is if you look here, when you hover over an item, it's going to show you its tier and then all of its stats. And while those are important, the one tip that I want to give you here is you'll notice that it says equipped and it says Dying Light Tier 2 Iconic. The iconic is the word you're looking for here. Iconic are special weapons that you can get, which can be upgraded throughout the game. And you never, ever, ever want to make the mistake of accidentally disassembling any of your iconic weapons. So whenever you come in here and you're wanting to disassemble these things for resources, which I highly recommend you do, you can hold the Y button. Thankfully, it's not just a simple click. You actually have to hold it. You'll get your crafting mods from doing so. Just make sure as you're going through here and you're disassembling, never disassemble your iconic weapons because you cannot get them back. These are just regular old weapons that you can get from anywhere in the game. You can get from drops, you can get from merchants, and so on and so forth. So these don't matter. But never, ever, ever accidentally disassemble your iconic weapons because they are rare, and once you find them, that's it. You will get lots of iconic weapons throughout the game. I highly recommend that even if you're not going to use them currently, you never know if you'll change your build. So come into your stash and put these other iconic weapons into your stash. Like I've got the Kongu, I've got La Chingona Dorada times two. But make sure you put your iconic weapons in storage so that you never accidentally lose them or disassemble them. And you will come across plenty of those in the game. So quick tip on iconic weapons. If you really want to dive deep into Cyberpunk, crafting is going to become a major part of your gameplay. So there are a lot of things you can do with crafting. You can make weapons, you can make weapon mods, you can craft ammo, you can craft quick hacks, you can craft melee weapons, supplements, amps, all sorts of different things. You can craft all of these, but all of the things you can craft in the game require crafting components. Also, you can upgrade. Up the top, there's a tab, and you can upgrade the iconic weapons, which is something we talked about earlier. But in order to do any of these things, you need crafting materials. So how do you get crafting materials? Well, the easiest way to get crafting materials for new players is to go to your inventory, and you can take any item in the game, whether it's a cosmetic item or a weapon, and you can deconstruct it. So this goes back to what I was saying, don't ever deconstruct any of your iconic stuff. But we can take things we don't want, like this jacket, and you'll notice there's a button at the bottom that says hold Y to disassemble, and we're going to do that. And I just got thermoactive collar, tier 2 components. So we could just decon all this stuff. And I always find that if I'm ever flush on cash and I don't need any more cash, and I want to go in here and I want to get all of my crafting mats and things, I just go in here and take the things that I don't want to disassemble, or that I don't need, and I can disassemble these things like so. Matter of fact, one of the tips I may have given you earlier might have been made moot with 2.0 because I'm not even seeing the iconic ones here as something I can disassemble. So it might just be based on what's equipped versus what's unequipped. But I know it's unequipped because I saw the iconics in here earlier. So I think it's just anything that's equipped doesn't show up here as something you could disassemble, which is great. But we could just go through here and disassemble all of these things. Just keeping an eye out, because if you've looted an iconic item and you don't have it equipped, you don't want to accidentally disassemble it. But down on the bottom right, you're noticing all the crafting components that we're getting. So don't ever forget, disassemble everything. If you're good on cash, don't sell it, just disassemble it. Either way, you'll get the things you need, whether it's cash or in this case, the mats to go in here and do crafting. And then one of the things, I'm constantly running low on ammo, so I make ammo more than anything else in the game. And when you craft, it tells you, do you want to do like a more than one stack? And so I'm going to say, hell yeah, I want to do, let's do 10 stacks. We'll confirm. And now I just made a whole bunch of pistol. And now it shows you the number up on the top right here where it says next to handgun ammo. It says ammo 666. That's how much I've got at the moment. I've got 379 of this. So if I wanted more heavy ammo, I could make more heavy ammo, more shotgun ammo, more sniper ammo, so on and so forth. So that's a quick tip on crafting and disassembling to get your crafting components. Alright, Ripperdocs are important, everybody, because this is the only place that you can change up your cyberware. It's also the only place that you can buy cyberware. And there are various Ripperdocs across the city. You can find them on the map. But once you've found a Ripperdoc, that's the only place that you can actually do anything with all of these things. So whether it's installing new ones, like I could click on this and it shows me the available items that he has. It'll also show me if I'm missing any of the prerequisites or if I don't have enough coin. And then if I want to update something, upgrade it, it'll show you if you have the proper resources, and you can upgrade it to tier 2, tier 3, whatever from here. But you have to be at a Ripperdoc to do any of this stuff. So remember, Ripperdocs can be found all across the city. You can find them on your map if you use the drop-down filter, and they have different things available. There are some standard items, but specialty items can be found on specialty vendors throughout the game world. Now, this might seem like an overly confusing thing, but it's not. Just everything is based on slots. So you can go here and you can look at all the various items and just go through them and look at what they offer you and figure out if it fits your build, because there are lots of different builds that you can create in this game. I would argue an infinite number of builds if you really want to get down to technicalities. But all of these have their own slots, and each slot can have multiple items in it. So take your time, but just remember you can't do anything with Cyberware outside of a Ripperdoc. So once you're at the Ripperdoc, you could do all this stuff. But if I exit out of this and just like walk away from Victor here, and I bring that same panel back up again and go into my Cyberware, now it has, like, if I click on this, it only shows me what I've owned, and on the bottom of the screen it says visit a Ripperdoc to change currently installed Cyberware. And then if you want to do things like upgrade, it says visit a Ripperdoc to upgrade. So it's a very important tip that all of your Cyberware stuff can only be handled at a Ripperdoc, so make sure you find them in an appropriate area. All right, now we come to your attribute points and your perks. And this is an area where a lot of people feel overwhelmed because there's a ton of stuff going on. So right away, you've got body, reflexes, technical ability, cool, and intelligence. And if you click on any of these, it's going to then break it down into a mishmash of all these different items. Let's go to body because I haven't done anything with body yet. So this is what it's going to look like at the very beginning of the game. You're going to be presented with a list of these red things that you can't do anything with, and it's going to be locked. So the way you unlock these is on the right hand side. You're going to notice it says rookie locked, then it goes pro locked, then it goes phenom locked, and legend locked. And at the same time, when you hover over these, look on the total left, look completely over on the left hand side. It says the first tier requires 4 points in body. So I can't spend any points in this first rank until I at least have 4 points in body. Then if I want to do the next tier, the pro tier, I need 9 points in body. If I want to do the phenom tier, I need 15 points in body. And if I want to do legend tier, you need 20. Now let's go over one of these where I actually have some points. So in tech, I have 14 to 15. So one more point and I will unlock the phenom level of tech. But until that point in time, I only have access to the first 2 tiers, and I can spend points in here as I have them. And then if I go over to the cool tier, I actually have enough points to be able to do some stuff down in here, just rank 1 stuff. But this is related to the stealth and everything else. But I'm primarily a net runner, so I've spent 15 points to unlock this to the 3rd tier. Now, how do you get points? Well, you get attribute points as you level up throughout the game. And essentially, if I'm not mistaken, I'm still new and early to the game, but if I'm not mistaken, you get a total of 60 points that you can spend, which allows you to essentially max out 3 of these tiers if you 3 of these trees if you wanted to, but you could also spread these out however you want to make a jack of all trades build. I'm primarily a net runner, so I'm going intelligence with tech backup, and anything left I'm going to go into cool. Right now I'm working on getting to the 3rd tier of tech, and then I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to spend my last 5 points to get the legend tier of the intelligence tree, and then I'm going to come back over to the tech tree, finish this out to 20, and then everything I earn after that's going to be dumped into cool to unlock all the ranks that I want for things there. Now, perk points are a little bit different because you get perk points by doing missions and lots of things in the game world. So just as you are doing things, side quests, gigs, all these other things, you're going to get perks. And the The perk points are those are the points you spend when you're in here. Now, the beautiful thing about this game is that it doesn't cost anything to respec. So if you find that you don't like something and you want to try it differently, there's a button right there. It says Y, refund. So you hit the Y button and you'll remove a point. And now I have an actual perk point. If you go back in here, it says you have a perk point available. So if I wanted to spend that, I could put that anywhere I wanted to, but I'm going to put it back into the overclock just to show you how that works. You can acquire it, boom, now it's in there. If you ever need to completely reset, you can even do the reset ability, reset attributes as well. And that'll reset all of the points you spent at character creation and as you've leveled up throughout the game. And you can then respec as you want. Now, there's also something else here, which is the skill progression. Now, this one is a little more confusing, and I haven't ironed out all of the various things here yet, but essentially, each one of these is related to a play style. So the Headhunter is related to like sneaking, and so since I do a lot of sneaking, I've leveled up Headrunner quite a bit, and Netrunner is related to using your net running abilities, and so that's been leveling up on its own. And then Engineer, I think, has something to do with crafting and stuff. Solo is like shotguns and things like that. I'm not sure what Shinobi is, but it's related to some type of weapon. But this is just these are based on weapon usage and ability usage. And as you level up your skills, you get additional perks to your character. Like once I got to level 5 in Headhunter, it decreased my visibility to enemies by 10%, so that's more sneak. Then at the level 10, and this is stuff that levels up passively behind the scenes as you're just using abilities in the game. But you can plan this out because you get perk points at the third level here, at the third tier. So level 15 for any of these abilities, you get additional perk points. And I mentioned that in the scope of the conversation about attributes and points because you actually can do more than just that. There's actually another one in here. There's another tier. At level 35 for any of these, you can also get additional perks across all of these. So you can go through here and check out all of the various things that you get. So if you're going to go true, like full-on completionist mode, you can level up all of these skills through various usage of abilities. And like one of the things I did because I wanted to get this right away, the increased carrying capacity by 50% in the solo, I just literally used a shotgun and worked my way through like 3 missions with a shotgun and was able to get to level 5 in solo, which gave me the extra carry capacity. I didn't care to do the next point, which was health by 10, so I just kind of have ignored it since then. Engineer has come naturally, as with Netrunner and Headhunter, because those are the things I do the most. But that directly ties to the attributes, perks, and skill progression in the game. Just understand that, like with Street Cred and everything else, as you level up, you get access to more things, and so that's part of the overall progression of your character throughout the game. All right, so remember how I talked about you need street cred to get things like access to more cars and so on and so forth? So one of the ways you can get street cred is by completing gigs. So anytime you see a gig on the map, which is represented by this icon, do the gig, and you'll see that there's some down here in the map. Now, the gigs are generally related to a zone. So if you're doing gigs in this zone, you're going to be earning faction with like the Valentinos. If you're doing gigs in this one, you're going to be earning credit with the 6th Street Gang, so on and so forth. And as it says here, every time you do a gig, you get cash, street cred, and access to more gigs. So when you first start off clearing an area, you might only see 1 or 2 gigs on the map. But as you start clearing out the gigs and doing more things in that area, you'll unlock access to more gigs. And then, of course, there's also the quests themselves that you can do for leveling progression. And there's something else that's not listed on the map at the moment, but you'll find when you're running down here and you're exploring, there will be occasional moments when there's like an assault happening, and the Night City Police Department an icon will pop up, and if you go do that, these are like these procedurally spawned quests and things that can happen in an area as you're roaming around and exploring. You won't see them on your map when you're out at a distance like what we're doing right now, because they're things that are related to you exploring on the ground locally. But anytime you see a local event happening, make sure to, if you can and if you want to, participate, because that gives you more street credit. And that's the easiest way to earn street credit, is by doing gigs and all these little things that you find, these quests that you find that spawn out in the real world. It's filler content, in terms of side quests and stuff, but it does give you that all important street cred, which gives you access to cooler abilities, more cars, all this other stuff. So never, ever, ever skip gigs and side quests if you can avoid it, because they're worth doing. All right, so let's say I'm in a weird area like this that I don't necessarily see any streets nearby me, and I want to call my vehicle because I want to be able to go somewhere. Let's call the vehicle right now and confirm it. And what we're going to look for on the minimap is the icon for my motorcycle, which you'll see on the left. It's over on this street over here, and then if I turn in that direction, I'm going to see the icon for my vehicle. So now we have to figure out how to get over there. In this case, we're going to run around the corner and go over here. Now, sometimes it might be up, it might be down, it might be on a different level than where you're at, but you'll always see the icon on your mini-map. So if you're in an area where you're not sure where your car might be, just look for the icon. Once you're out here, get on and go. Which leads us directly to the next tip about driving, which is the fact that if you're a new player to this game, you're going to want to turn the sensitivity down for driving, in my experience. I am not very good at driving in most games, and this game is no exception. So I turned the driving sensitivity down to 50%, which has made it much more enjoyable for me playing on a controller, because now I actually feel like I can get around the city without killing myself. Now, granted, everybody drives differently, and here's the other cool thing. All vehicles behave differently. So if you're in... that was fun. All vehicles control differently, have different velocities and everything else. So just bear that in mind as you drive around, because you may find different cars suit you better. But as a general rule, like I said, turn the driving sensibility down. It makes your life extremely more enjoyable when driving. And to do that, you go into the options here, go into the settings, go over to controls, and there is right here at the top, steering sensitivity, and I turned it down to 50%. By default, it's at 100%, but I turned it way down to help me with steering, and it has made my life so much easier. All right, there's probably one more thing I should show you, which is how to get away from the police. Because you may eventually find yourself accidentally doing something without knowing it, because you're a new player. I did this a lot in Red Dead Redemption 2, and I've done it a few times here on the live streams if you've been watching me live. I've been in an area and accidentally done something which provoked the police to come after me. I mean, this could be as simple as accidentally hitting somebody with your car or your vehicle. Accidentally doing AoE damage with a grenade or something and hurting civilians. But you will upset the police. And if you do this, there's a new responsive police system, which it works really well. So let's just, for the purposes of I should do a hard save. Well, I've already got a hard save. We're good to go. I'm still going to do another hard save just to make sure. Because I don't want to actually damage anything in the game. By the way, you can see here I'm only 17 hours in, so I'm still very early on in my fresh start playthrough. I'm very much in the beginner stages, like all of you. So let's just go ahead and attack a cop here. And all right, now on the right hand side of the mini map, you're going to notice now that I've got 1 star. It shows 1 star. So that means I'm currently at a very low level of the police being upset with me. Now now it's at a 2 star. Okay. Now no one currently is investigating, but somebody there he is. There we go. So the longer you get involved with criminal activity, here, look at that. More cop cars are showing up. All right, we're at a 2 star now. And the reason I want to mention is the stars will keep coming up, and the threat will you'll keep getting more police And now I'm at 3 stars. Now's a good time for me to get the hell out of here. So I'm going to get on my bike, and we're going to ride like the wind. And the important thing here is to evade the cops. So if you ever find yourself in problems, you know, oh my god, I'm going to die. Okay, let's get out of here. Alright. Oh, dude. Dude. So, we got to be able to get away from the police here. So, the big thing is we got to ride. We got to get away and find a place to hide. We're currently at 3 stars. Oh, they keep ramming me, so I'm going to have to probably take care of that other bike cop. I think they've done something to make my bike less responsive. Oh, they've set up a checkpoint. I'm so screwed. Alright, let's get off the bike and run. Now our objective here is we need to find a place to hide. Because they are on me like flies on shit. So what I'm looking for is a quiet, out of the way area where I can hide. Now see, they're looking for me. They're gonna find me. Yep. Alright, keep running. So the key here is that once you've got the police on you, you have to be able to find a place to hide. And if you can find a place to hide, you can ditch the cops, but you have to be able to hide for several minutes. So let's see if we can get in here. I think we're okay. I think we're in the clear now. But let's wait a minute. I still have the 3 stars, and this is just literally a time thing. So if you ever see they're flashing, those 3 stars are flashing, that means they're losing interest. They can't find me. And once they've lost interest completely and they can't find me, it all disappears, and now we're back and we're good to go. We can run. So if you ever do anything by accident, like accidentally chuck a grenade into a crowd like I've done before, you can get away from it by doing it that way. You just got to run from the cops and find a safe place to hide. But remember, they can use cyberware against you, so they can hack your vehicle and all sorts of other stuff. So it's not as easy as just running away from them, as we saw on my motorcycle, because they were doing all sorts of fun stuff to my bike. Now, I'm sure there are a million things that I could add to a ultimate beginner's guide to any game, but those are the ones I've chosen for this first introduction guide to Cyberpunk 2077. I'll be doing advanced guides and updated versions of this later on, but the important thing is that if you're new to Update 2.0 or you're a returning player who hasn't played since the game first launched, there's a ton of new stuff, so hopefully this gives you a little bit of a glimpse into all the new things in the game. The other thing I would say on a closing note is that if you ever find yourself running short on cash, because that's absolutely a legitimate thing in the game, they have increased the economy and done some great things with the economy with the Update 2.0. And I would just say that anytime that you find yourself running low on cash, do gigs, side jobs, just run around the map and find side activities to do, because they do pay very well. The contracts are the easiest way to get loot, but also just general encounters, selling weapons and so on and so forth. There's always cash to be had as a mercenary in Night City, so don't hesitate to do that and go out there and do the side missions and everything else. And I think that's one final thing I can say is that don't feel like you have to do a specific build. The system is designed so that you can play any way you want. If you don't want to take net running abilities and you don't want to deal with any of the hacking and all that stuff, you don't have to. You can go pure melee build and make like a samurai. You can make a pure stealth build, which is what I played through the game in the very first time I played through, which was just pure pistols and stealth. There's lots of different ways to play your character and lots of ways you can combine the attributes and the various perks within the attributes and go from there. So don't hesitate to play around. Remember, you can respec, go do side quests to get lots of cash. Don't forget your cosmetics, and hopefully you'll stay safe in Night City, everybody. If you found this guide useful, do me a solid and like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon, and drop a super thanks on this video to support. You can also join as a member. Members get access to live streams, chats on the weekends, as well as the member videos that we do a few times throughout the week. There's a Discord chat if you want to check that out, and of course all the other playlists where we do all the other fun stuff here on the channel, which is more than just games. So hopefully we'll see you in those as well. Till next time, everybody, stay safe, don't get shot, take it easy, chooms.